1 year ago today, the seaside town of Southport suffered an unimaginable tragedy that reverberated across Britain. On the 29th of July 2024, three little girls, Alice de Silva Aguirre, age 9, Elsie Stankham, age 7, and Bebe King, age 6, were murdered in a frenzied knife attack during a Taylor Swift-themed dance class. And the assailant, Axel Rudacabana, then just 17, also attempted to murder 10 others. What unfolded was not only an atrocity, but a catalyst for national introspection, civic anger, and sadly opportunistic distortion, using questions to incite or to trigger a series of riots across the country. Today at 3 p.m, the nation observes a 3-minute silence, but silence alone is not enough. What matters now is how we remember and what we learn. And the families have shown extraordinary dignity. They've refused to allow their daughters to be reduced to victims. They've created living memorials in the form of charities, Bebe's Hive, Elsie's Story, Alice's Wonder Dance. These are not mere foundations, they are declarations that joy, generosity and innocence must outlive the cruelty that attempted to extinguish them. We must, however, be clear. The legacy of this atrocity cannot be left to grieving families and kind neighbours alone. It must be shaped by a state that refuses to repeat its failures. A public inquiry opens today. Its remit includes the psychological deterioration of the killer and the institutional oversights that preceded the massacre. But the questions of what followed, the riots, the misinformation, the poisonous political climate, are even more urgent. The aftermath exposed a country on edge, fueled by falsehoods, fragmented by mistrust, protests against asylum seekers turned violent, hotels housing migrants were targeted, some on the right exploited the tragedy to push a narrative of invasion and betrayal, others on the left dismissed public anger as mere bigotry. Both responses were morally negligent. Yes, Rudacabana was British-born. No, he was not a recent arrival nor a jihadist, but his obsession with genocide, his production of ricin, his interest in extreme violence, all point to a deep systemic breakdown of the way we function, lured in by social media, triggered by social media and by what can be discovered on the internet. A society that cannot notice, much less treat such pathology in time, is one that leaves itself open to horror. And Sir Keir Starmer, newly in office at the time, had an unenviable task to lead a nation in mourning, to steady its nerves, and instead this government chose obfuscation. Facts were withheld under the guise of judicial propriety, public trust evaporated. The Prime Minister's words today about sorrow and solidarity are welcome but insufficient. And what is required is clarity, courage and genuine reform. He's had a year to make migration safe and fair, a year to bring the Prevent programme into the 21st century, a year to tackle the bureaucratic indolence that lets radicalisation fester and dangerous individuals slip through cracks, a year to lead. Instead, boats still arrive by thousands, community tensions remain raw, and the government now chooses to police online speech rather than criminal networks. Monitoring tweets is not the same as dismantling the causes of violence. And what of justice? We need to ensure that it's not administered by appearance but by principle. The perception, rightly or wrongly, of double standards in policing and prosecution is itself a danger. It corrodes cohesion and empowers extremists. Still, in the middle of this institutional failure, there is hope, grassroots, incandescent hope. Southport today is more than a town that suffered, it's a town that's responded, a place that's cleaned its own streets, comforted its own families, built new playgrounds to honour fallen children, the reflection hubs opening today, the fundraising by cricket clubs and coffee shops, the refusal to be defined by hatred. This is what Britain must become. So we need to honour Alice, Bebe and Elsie, not just in silence but in action. So their legacies are national, not merely local. We should learn not just how they died, but how their families chose to live. And we should demand more, not just from extremists and agitators, but from those who claim to govern. Today we should pause, tomorrow we should press on, for the girls, for the truth, and for the kind of country that doesn't need to mourn like this anymore.